Okay, so we covered custom subnetting in the last class, which is the variable length subnet masking. Okay, now in the situation where in the situation where the CIDR notation is 25, you're going to look at your cheat sheet, your subnetting cheat sheet, and you're going to see that it is the first number. Okay. Let me see if I have one I can pull up. No. So you're going to see that it is the first number, and we need to know how many number of networks. Well, first of all, how many bits were borrowed? 1 bit was borrowed. So in our CIDR, if it were slash 32, they would all be zeros in the last octet. But it's slash 25, so we borrowed 1 bit from the 4th octet for our network mask. Now, how many networks did we create because of this? Your formula is going to be right here. We borrowed 1 bit, so we're going to say 2 raised to the first power. That equals 2. So that is the number of networks that we created from this one network, and we are calling those sub-networks. Now, because we borrowed 1, remember we have 8 bits right here, and we borrowed 1 for the network, which means that we have 7 left over for the host addresses, 7 bits. All right. If you add up these bits, all right, it's essentially going to give you this. The number of host addresses is going to be the value of the last bit added, which is going to be 128. All right, so this IP address right here is our net ID, the IP address of our network. So how many host addresses do we have? We have 128 because we only borrowed 1 bit. So let's say that instead of slash 25, we have slash 27. That would be a 1 here and a 1 here. All right, so we have borrowed 3 bits. Okay, the number of bits added is now 3. Well, sorry, undo. We borrowed 3 bits. How many? This goes here. So how many networks do we have? 2 raised to the 3rd power. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Two raised to the 3rd power. All right. And you will have access to a calculator while you are doing this, so don't worry too much about that. But 2 to the 3rd power is 8. So how many networks do we have? We have 8 networks. Now, how many addresses do we have per network? That's going to be the value of the last bit that we added. The last bit that we added has a value of 32, so we have 32 addresses per network. And how many addresses do we have total? Well, if we go back to this slide, well, that's not going to happen. But on the previous slide, you will see that if you have 2 networks, you have 128 hosts per network. That totals 256. If you have 4 subnets, you have 64 hosts per network, and that multiplied 4 times 64 is going to give you 256. If you have 8 networks, you have 32 host addresses per network. 8 times 32 is 256. If you have 16 networks, you have 16 host addresses per network. 16 times 16 is 256. Now, one way that you can also remember this, if you don't want to remember the math part, is that, well, let's, oh, geez, what? Oh, no. I don't know what I did. Get out of here. Okay. So, if we are oh, geez. Oh, is it on the right thing? Okay, if we ignore, I don't know why that's not working. Oh, all right, if we ignore, I'm going to, whoops, didn't mean to do that. All right, well, if we ignore this value right here, okay, these 2 numbers go together, these 2 numbers go together, these 2 numbers go together, and 16 is doubled. Okay, so if you just remember that, then you will be able to remember how many host addresses you will have per network. Now, let's practice what that is going to look like. Okay, that needs to go somewhere. All right, so what does this look like? Well, first of all, okay. Now, we have a subnet mask of 28. Let's try that again. All right, we have a subnet mask of 28. And we have our IP address right here, but notice it is the network address. So remember, /28 gives us a group size of 16. So we will be increasing, also /28 is in the CIDR. So we are working in the 4th octet where that 0 is, and we will be increasing by 16. All right, so 0.16 or 32 is next. Dot 48. Dot 64. Dot 80. How far are we going? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It asks down to number 8, so we're going to do 2 more. Dot 96. Dot 112. Now each of these is the net ID. All right, and we know that the 192.10.10 stays the same for each one until we get to 255 at some point. Okay, but for this, we're not going to get to 255. This stays the same all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. All right, now, how many bits have we borrowed? Okay, right here, we have borrowed 4 bits. And because there are 8 total, we borrowed 4, we know there's 4 left over. Okay, now if we go back to the slide that helps us calculate how many subnets we have, okay, we are going to end up knowing, let me see, all right, 128, oh no, right here. How many bits did we borrow? It is right here. How many bits did we add? 2 raised to the number that we added. 2 raised to 4. That's a horrible looking 4. That's going to give us 16. And back on the other one, or if you memorized it, if you didn't memorize it and you want to do the math, 256 divided by 16 is 16. So we have 16 addresses for each subnet. Okay, now over here, we only have the first 8 listed because that's where we're stopping, okay? But there would be 16 total networks. I'm just leaving them off for the sake of time. So, what is the number 1 subnet broadcast? Okay, this is number 1. This is number 2. This is 3, 4, oh, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, something else got deleted. 112, and then number 8 is down here, and that is 128. All right, so if we need to know the subnet broadcast address for the first one, we can go to the second one. This is the second one, and we can subtract 1. Oh wait, no, this is not the second one. Oh, that's what I did wrong. Okay, sorry, that is not the second one. This 0 up here, that's the first one. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, they are renumbered. My apologies. So the first one is right here, dot 0. It ends in dot 0. 16 minus 1. That dot 15 gives us the broadcast address for network 1. So it would be 192.10.10.15. All right, so then we want to look at subnet 4. This is number 4. And we want to know the first host address. We're going to add 1. All right, so our first host of subnet 4 is 192.10.10.49. Now we want to look at subnet 8. That is this one right here. All right, dot 112. The subnet network address, that is the subnet network address, 192.10.10.112. Okay. So let's look at the next one. It's not going to let me go any further. Maybe. I don't know. All right. This one you're going to want to try on your own because I don't think I'm going to be able to do it with this method of screen sharing and recording. So try it on your own and see if you can get the answers. And then let me know if you have more questions. But the best way to really do this is to practice. You have to practice it over and over or else you're not going to remember how to do it. So you can actually ask ChatGPT or Google Gemini to generate network addresses or IP addresses and subnet masks to help you practice generating this information on your own.